Hey, so welcome to the fourth video in this movement series of the flow training program. So quick recap. In video 1, we talked about how to stand, how to connect to the ground, but also how to move in a linear fashion. So how to move forward, back, side to side. In the second video of the series, we talked about angles and pivots. So how to move on different angles and also how to pivot in order to change directions. In the third video of this series, we talked about level changes. So how I can bend at the knees to be able to change levels, and also how to hinge at the waist, right, in order to avoid different obstacles or make myself a more difficult target to hit. So in this fourth video of this series, and this will actually be the last video of this series, I want to take it to the ground. So a lot of the techniques that we're going to introduce in this program will happen either on the ground or in a transition from standing up to the ground and then from the ground and getting back up. But I felt like before we can even look at any of that, I want to teach this simple technique that can help you basically fall, right? Because at some point, everybody falls. Sometimes we fall forward, sometimes we fall backwards. But having this comfort with falling can really help you deal with that type of situation. So this is a technique which is very common in many martial arts, especially in judo or jiu-jitsu, which is called a breakfall. So a breakfall is exactly what it is. It's how to break your fall and especially how to protect your head should you fall backwards. So I'm going to go through the basics of this movement. Also, I want to say I'm going to be demonstrating on these mats. Okay, so this mat is about 1 inch thick. It's pretty firm, but it's definitely better than the cement that's underneath. So if you don't have a mat, if all you have is a hardwood floor or even a cement floor, please don't try this. Okay, either find a mat. You can use like a really thick yoga mat. You can use if you have really thick carpeting. But after I demonstrate the video, the technique, I'm actually going to talk about some other options that you can use in order to make this a little bit easier. Because another issue you might have is you might not have the flexibility in order to squat down low enough in order to allow you to practice this movement on the floor. You might want to try something a little bit higher. So we're going to talk about that after I demonstrate the technique, okay? So first step is you're going to get in a stance which is feet shoulder width, but you can actually open your feet up a little bit. This is just going to make it easier to squat and to get down lower. So the goal here is you really want to try to get as low as you can. Okay, so I'm going to get nice and low, and then I'm just going to fall back. I'm going to fall back, and as I fall back, I'm going to open up my arms, and I'm going to slap the ground. And that's the break fall. That's where I'm basically breaking my fall with my arms, and I'm protecting my head from hitting the ground. Okay, so I squat down, I fall back, boom. And there you go. Okay, so I put my hands as wide as possible, my arms as wide as possible, open up my fingers so there's a nice large surface that's hitting the ground, and see how my head is elevated. That's the main goal here, is to really protect myself from smashing my head on the ground like that. Okay, so I'm going to get back up, and I'll do it one more time. So again, feet shoulder width, nice strong stance. I squat down, I fall back slowly, boom. I really want to slap. Okay, you actually want this to hurt your hands a little bit so you know you're doing it nice and hard. And again, I'm making sure to protect my head from hitting the floor. Okay? So that's option 1. So option 1 is if 1, you have a soft enough surface on the floor, and 2, you're flexible enough and comfortable enough to squat all the way down there. Okay. Now, there is an option that allows you to go to the floor even if you're a little bit scared, and that's to have someone help. So if you have someone with you who's strong enough and that can hold your hands as you go down, they can hold you and kind of help you fall back and then let go at the last minute so you can do this part of the technique. That's one option. Another option, if you want to go a little bit lower but not completely to the ground, is you can use, so this is like a martial arts pad, but this could easily be like a big thick couch cushion, right? So you could take the cushion off your couch or a really thick pillow of some kind, and you put it right behind you like this. So now first of all, I don't have to go down as low, but I also know that when I fall back, I'm going to have a lot of protection between me and the floor, right? So same thing, I go down and I basically sit, fall back, and same technique. I'm just using my arms again to break the fall, all right? Again, we're trying to build a reflex, which is this. This is what you're trying to build, okay? Another thing to mention is when you're falling back, you don't want to try to fall with your back completely straight. You kind of want to turn your shoulders in a bit, and you kind of want to rock your back on the floor so that you're absorbing some of that energy, and then you fall back, all right? So a little bit awkward on this, but you get the idea. Now, another option, if you want to even go a little bit higher, would be to use your bed, right? So let's say your bed's about this high off the ground. You can basically just stand at the end of your bed, let yourself fall back, and open your arms and fall like that. Super safe, super easy, but at least you're building that reflex, right, of opening your arms and preventing your head from hitting the bed, okay? So quick recap, option 1 is you do it on the floor, squat down, fall back, open your hands, break your fall, protect your head. Option 2 is you get someone to help you, but make sure they're strong enough and that they're not going to drop you and you end up getting hurt. Option 3 is you use either a thick couch cushion or something that you can put on the floor that's going to help you fall back and make it a little bit less scary and make sure that you're well protected. And then option 4 is to use your bed, right? Is to just fall back on your bed. And again, if you start with the bed and you do that a few times and you're comfortable, then maybe you can transition to something a little bit lower, a little bit closer to the ground. Okay, so that's the breakfall technique. Like I said, this is the 4th and probably final video of this series because I wanted us to go all the way from standing up down to the ground. And in the next movement videos, we're going to be introducing some ground techniques, some standing techniques, some transition from standing to ground and ground to standing. But I really wanted to make sure that we had covered this particular movement just so that there's a nice transition to the ground exercises. Okay, so once again, if you have any questions or comments, please message me, and I look forward to the next video. Peace.